Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of I Will Aim podcast. And I'm your host, Will Lucan. Our topic for today is titled I Am Possible by Dr. Maddy Gomez. With over 2 decades of experience, Dr. Gomez has established herself as a pioneer transformational teacher, mindset healer, a spiritual leader, and keynote speaker. Her mission is to guide individuals toward a renewed mindset, fostering a self-belief and integrating emotional and spiritual intelligence into all aspects of their lives, including relationship, career, communication, and leadership. Armed with a doctorate in metaphysical science and expertise as pranic healer, combined with 35 years of business and leadership experience, she offers a unique fusion of teaching, coaching, and healing. Dr. Gomez empower her client to become conscious beings who feel confident, pursue purpose-aligned career, and increase their impact and influence in life to lead the change we needed. Welcome, Dr. Gomez.
Thank you, Will, and I'm so happy to be here. I really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for this opportunity to speak to you and talk about my work because I love my work and the transformation that it brings in people's lives. Yeah, I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Thank you for coming today. Really appreciate you too. Let's start with the first question. Let's give our audience a little bit perspective of your journey. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey?
I was a director of a top 10 company, very much career orientated, when I lost my brother and shortly thereafter my husband. And that led me to ask certain questions. I didn't expect it, obviously, and it put me into shock. I had this powerful company that was in its spurt of growing, 2-year-old son. I was nearly 40 and I just lost my husband, and I thought, where am I going? I just had to survive and I carried on as normal. 9 months later, world disintegrated around me. I suffered from delayed shock. I lost my health. I lost my memory. Had a small accident that actually triggered the memory loss, and we didn't understand what was wrong with me until I ended up via a friend with a spiritual teacher because doctors couldn't help me. They thought thyroid, they diagnosed all sorts of things and so on, didn't work. And then when I spoke to the spiritual teacher, which was the first time in my life that I met a spiritual teacher because I was very much business, and through her teachings, I realized that I didn't deal with my grief. And it caused blockages within my system, energetic blockages, which caused me not to be able to speak. My skin started to peel, I had a near-death experience. I had all of that due to my body that went into shock. That triggered the interest in me in the connection between mind, body, and soul. So then I met a pranic healer who helped me with these blockages to release them and understand them and go through the process so that I can actually, so my energy can start to flow again. And it's not blocked everywhere in my body, causing disease and some illness. And this triggered the spark in me that I wanted to know more, but I didn't know how. And then one night I sat at the kitchen table on my own and I just said, God, who am I? I know I'm not the director anymore, but I've got no idea who I am. Show me who I am and what you want me to do. And that was shortly thereafter that I came across metaphysical science and I read more about it. And I thought, but this is what I've always been talking about, always, my topics and my interest. And so I enrolled. And from the pranic healer that assisted me, I showed interest in studying. So I did pranic healing modules. I did all 9 over years. And I did many other modalities, holistic massaging, and many, many other teachings. For years, I couldn't stop. It was just that I needed to know everything. And then 10 years later, I experienced my second shock when my company was targeted by an organized crime syndicate. And I had to leave my home, my furniture, my business, everything behind, and just flee for the safety of my son and myself. The law didn't protect me, and I had nowhere to go after that. And So we moved away, my son and myself, and I had nothing, lost everything. I was very angry, very depressed. You can imagine, I was at the top and now I'm zero. How do you start again at the age of 50? And to achieve the success that I achieved. And at that time, I wasn't spiritually enough like I am now with all my wisdom that I teach with to know maybe this is just God's redirection. I was in my negativity and my anger, my resentment, judgment, and all that. Be it as it may, that state of mind carried on for a couple of years. It affected my relationships, my health again, and so on. And then one night I wanted to end it all. I said, I had enough. I'm not going to continue like this. I can't. I couldn't see the end of the tunnel, and I couldn't see any light in the tunnel. And then I had this divine intervention that came through for me and said, there is another way. If you follow me, I show you the way. Now, I know this voice. I grew up with this voice inside of me, but I shoved it because I thought everything I believed in didn't work. And I felt God forgot about me. So, I believe in the wrong stuff. Anyway, so I started to follow this voice because I had nothing else to lose. And that is when the I Am Possible was birthed. Now, at the time, I didn't know that. I continued with this voice and the work that I've done, inner work that went into all levels. It was just amazing. For 2 to 3 years before I realized one night, okay, I'm done. I'm okay. And then I realized I've got a workshop. I've got a course that I can teach to others and it can change lives. So I went to bed and I said, God, now what do I call this? Because I've got no idea where to start with this. And that night I had another intervention and a voice inside my room that said, I'm possible. And that was the start of the I Am Possible that I've been teaching all over the world since then.
Well, thank you for that, sharing that a challenging story and then finding your way back and also now creating the program called I Am Possible. Can you talk about a little bit about the program I Am Possible? What does it consist of? Is it a workshop, in-person workshop? Are there different modules that people have to follow? Can you give a little bit perspective around the program?
Well, it is 7 modules, and I start with childhood trauma. Because when I went through my last bit of serious trauma, I realized that I didn't heal my childhood trauma. And that keeps on knocking on the door and change our behavior. So it's in the subconscious mind. So I start with the subconscious mind. I start with your outcomes that you want to change now or that you experience now that's challenging you. And then over the years, I intuitively developed myself to find the root of those challenges. And I believe when we find the root and we understand what happened, then we can change anything. Then we take our power back. And I alchemize that pain into wisdom. So we look at the challenge, we look at the root, where does it come from? And I alchemize that into wisdom. Then I take that wisdom and use it as stepping stones in module 2 to reinvent you, to reinvent your vision for yourself and your future. Because if you start to change your roots, you're not the same anymore. So you can't have the same vision. When we don't have a vision, we perish because we have no goal. So I go deeply spiritual and say, what is your purpose? What are your skills? What are your strengths, your passion? And I have a beautiful exercise that I do with my clients to unleash their potential and their purpose inside of them and let them see their beauty, which we are not programmed to do. We only programmed to see the negativity, the trauma, the I can't, I'm not good enough, I don't know. So I take all of that out and I say we will. We are now possible. From there, once we have the vision in place, then I go to the self-esteem. Because if you still don't have confidence in yourself and you don't have self-love and self-awareness, then that new vision is going to perish because you're going to go back into your old subconscious mind. So now we go into self-love. Self-acceptance creates confidence. When we're confident, we have the willpower to take action towards our goals. When we're not confident, we procrastinate and we give ourselves 101 reasons why we shouldn't work, why that shouldn't be done, the reasons why it's going to fail. because we don't have the confidence. Once we've done that, we go into the heart. We look at the heart and we say, what's in the heart, we are. So if your heart is filled with resentment, bitterness, anger, unforgiveness, judgment, like I had, you speak it. It comes through in your words and your voice. People pick it up. They don't want to be friends with you. You don't understand. You think everybody's moving away from you, but it's because you always sound angry or bitter or negative, and the words that you use is self-sabotaging. So I teach my clients to clear the heart, put gratitude in the heart. Forgiveness is the most powerful tool to experience any form of emotional freedom. Once they master that, we go into conscious communication. And once they master that, I teach them how to trust their intuition. Because through our intuition, we are divinely guided and protected. That inner voice where we say later, I knew that, I should have done that. I had this feeling in me, but I didn't listen. So, what if you can develop your intuition? You listen to it and things just happen and you are in your flow. So that's the gist of the I Am Possible program.
Thank you for sharing the seven module. My next question is, your work span diverse areas including metaphysical science, pranic healing, and mindset coaching. How do this discipline interconnect in your approach to personal and spiritual healing?
Metaphysical science is the spiritual side of us. It's who am I? What's my purpose? Seeing purpose and healing and a new path in a spiritual way and not as a victim. It elevates our consciousness scale from going from victimhood to courage, to willingness to change, to embrace and surrender. Then pranic healing is taking you, while we're working on the spiritual side, it unblocks these blocks that we've got in us. That's blocking our confidence. That's giving us confusion about who we are. That's blocking the heart from healing. So once we release all those blocks, we become able to fill it with better energy and more positive energy, reconnect with our higher self. The mindset is at the subconscious mind. Well, who we want to become, and we change the mindset to actually facilitate that. So we take out the contaminated roots in our system, we plant new seeds, we grow a new forest within.
Wow, thank you for sharing how it interconnect. Really appreciate it. My next question is, we work with a wide range of individuals from an unemployed truck driver to abused women. What are some of the common challenges they face and how does I Am Possible program help them overcome them?
Problems that, or the common thread, I would say, that's running amongst all of us, doesn't matter where you're from, your environment, your circumstances, is that we get encapsulated in pain when we experience trauma. And then we build our personality around the trauma. We build our personality around what we can't, what we believe we can't, and what we believe that is not possible. So I take anyone in any circumstances and say, let's see what is possible. It could be people who are addicted to drugs, people who experience severe trauma. It could be people who do not perform well at the office. It could be people who have relationship challenges because of the way they speak to other people and not realizing it. All of these have roots where they started. The way we speak starts with our childhood. What we've seen, what we've experienced is just, it's a build up and a build up, and we don't realize that the heart is affecting the voice and the words that we speak and how we react towards others. So it's higher consciousness development in understanding yourself, being aware, but also have compassion for others. Understand that the person who pained you actually experienced that pain. Because whatever we didn't heal, we inflict. So when we create this awareness and we've gone through the forgiveness and we look at what happened to us and we think they actually experienced that and never healed from that. And that is why they're still in their subconscious patterns. When you realize that, you're not taking it on personally anymore. You actually create compassion for them. So there's no attachment emotionally. There's no trauma emotionally because you understand where it's coming from. And that is the release.
It's interesting because at times people think that people from all walks of life have different problems, but the reality is, as you point out, you really need to address the root cause and
Yeah.
uncover that in order to start the healing journey. Thank you for highlighting that. Your I Am Possible program has reached people across different continents, including leaders in France and Africa. What are unique challenges and success you've encountered in this diverse culture context?
I actually encounter new challenges now. It's been fine for the last couple of years since 2017, and now I see a new trend. I see people are more angry than ever before. I see people are they're angry, they're resentful, they isolate themselves, they're not living life. They don't go out and take a walk on the beach. I have to say to them, go on Saturday, take your family, go for a walk so that you get out of your environment, out of office, out of home, have new topics to talk about with your family, and start to live again. It's like they are, I don't know, they just go into this mode where they're given over and they just and their pain's becoming more, and so it's affecting their performance at work, it's affecting their relationships, it's affecting their health, and they don't realize it's sitting in their hearts, that anger that they harbor for what we've been through. For everybody had losses. I had severe losses during COVID time. I know that anger that can manifest inside the body, and I see it now, but I see it times 10, and it's quite
Wow.
severe where the iron principle, I used to teach it in the beginning, and it used to take a year to teach the then people escalated their consciousness and elevated it, so it took 6 months, then it took 3 months, then it took 7 weeks, and now we're moving it out again to 4 and 5 months because it takes longer to bring through the healing and the
I do agree with your observation of there seem to be more anger in this world, right? And I think that's one thing that's challenging. And I hope a lot of people go to your program so this way they can address the root cause and move forward to a more happy and purposeful path.
Yes.
In your experience, what are the key components of effective healing and transformation that can help individual break free from the past trauma and achieve greater success?
The key component, first of all, is your pattern. Identify what is troubling you. If you have a problem that keeps on coming up, then it needs healing. Seek healing because that's screaming to you that you're out of alignment. And when we're out of alignment, then these signs of self sabotaging, low confidence levels, not being able to speak up for yourself, all those are showing up. Now, we're so used to call it mental unwellness, take a tablet and hope it goes away. No, it's showing you that between the mind, body, and soul, there's a misalignment. When you find that root and you alchemize it into wisdom, what did I learn from this pain? What did it teach me? That is your freedom to the future. Otherwise, that pain is going to rule your life for you.
Well, thank you for highlighting that. Looking into the future, I want to look into the future too. What are your future plans for I Am Possible movement? How do you envision expanding in this global landscape?
The I Am Possible Foundation is now moving into companies' landscapes where I now offer wellness programs, very much in line with the program, but more on the business side as well. And you must remember the business outcomes is still very much rooted in our personal development and spiritual and emotional IQ. So the I Am Possible addresses all of that. So I'm now moving into the landscape, back into the landscape of businesses, into corporates, help them with their mindset, with their wellness, with their emotional and spiritual IQ, so that the businesses can do better and perform better, and everybody can be a success. Then from there, I'm starting soon with next week, weekly meet-up groups of support where we take a topic for the month and we're going to go on through that topic and we're going to do the healing and transformation in these groups, live and my ultimate goal is I'm starting this foundation with zero money because I lost everything during COVID and then I lost my last belongings in the looting. It burned down in the political looting. So I'm living with my son. I had to sell my car, everything. I started my passion with zero money. So as soon as this is up and running, I want to start a wellness center where I want to accommodate people from all over the world to come onto various programs and experience the change in a tranquility and peaceful environment and go back a new person. So that's
Wow, I think sort of like a retreat, like
yes,
people coming in and doing a
yes,
healing retreat.
yeah,
I want to ask a follow up question with on that one. You're the only expert in I am possible. How are you? How are you generating the next level of people who could actually help propagate what your knowledge is, right? Because you're the only one doing it right now. Are you creating a curriculum, or are you
yes,
thinking of doing certification for people to follow what you're doing and be able to carry not carry on? You're still here, but work with you to do the good work that you're doing. Can can you
yes.
talk a little bit about that?
Yes, because I can't grow on my own. So
Mhm.
I am moving into companies. I'm getting slowly but new clients. And as soon as I'm in and I can assess the situation with the people, I want to choose a person in each company to represent the I am possible and teach them what I know so that they can be the teachers and representing the program so that I can move on to the next one and just keep pace. And hopefully that will later on open smaller centers so that there's a support center everywhere and people can go there, which will lead back to the retreat again. So I have this. It must be people who experience the program, believe in it,
Mm.
have seen the changes, and I don't want people with book knowledge, but they didn't walk through the fire. Because if you didn't walk through the fire and you get a client with a certain challenge, how are you going to know how to solve it for them or lead them to their healing and transformation? And I've been studying this for 20 years. You know, I still had my top 10 company when I was already into it and I apply that into my business. The I Am Possible just came afterwards. So I'm planning on training and developing people to represent I Am Possible once I've trained and developed them in their environment so that they can understand.
Thank you for sharing that. We talk a lot about healing, handling, addressing trauma, developing confidence, developing awareness. If there are three takeaway for this episode, what would those three takeaway be for our audience?
I would say believe in yourself. Don't believe in your trauma and your pain. Inside of you, there's greatness, there's purpose, you're the thumbprint on this earth. Surely you don't want to leave the legacy of pain behind. You don't want to lie on your deathbed one day and say, I should have, I could have, you know? So to me, I want to leave the message with the audience and say, if you experience any trauma or any discomfort at the moment, let's work on it. Let's allow you to step through that door and become the greatness that you are actually, because we have a worldly image, we've got a godly image. When you heal the worldly image, you become the godly image. Let's become the godly image because then we have a ripple effect on the people around us.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Can you share with my audience what are the things that you're working on? Do you have any event that you're going to be a part of? Just share with the audience. And then if the audience wants to reach out to you, how do they connect with you?
I am putting an event together, be a global event, because I've been asked by a lady in America to put the event together. And it is healing yourself to become more confident and love yourself better so that you're not blocked and you don't procrastinate and you take opportunities that comes your way and be abundant and in your flow. So I'm putting that event together at the moment. It will probably be up and running in a week. I can let you know when it's up and running. And they can get hold of me on the website. The website is the normal story, and then it's theimpossible.foundation is the company website. My own is very easy. It is drmadeleine.gomes.com, and they can also find me there. That's my personal healing site. And then my very simple email address,
Thank you, Dr. Gomez. What I will do is I'll add all those links into the post when I release the episode. Want to personally thank you for your time today, Dr. Gomez. Really appreciate you sharing your gift to my audience. Thank you very much for being in this episode today.
Well, thank you so much for this opportunity.
You're welcome.